From the campus of West Deptford High School in West Deptford, New Jersey, the Gloucester County Educational Network presents high school football. Tonight, it's the South Jersey Group 2 Championship game as the West Deptford Eagles host the Haddonfield Bulldogs. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Shawn Leary. Cold, crisp evening here at West Deptford High School. Beautiful night for football all in all, and a great matchup tonight. West Deptford, Haddonfield, Colonial Conference rivals. They had a barn burner early in the season. Tonight, we expect the same.
Yeah, it was a tale of two different halves in that first game. West Deptford jumps out to a 28-0 lead. Haddonfield comes roaring back. They were playing loose. They were able to get back into the game. We're going to see tonight whether that confidence will continue to come back or will West Deptford come out. I think the big key in today's game is who starts and how they're able to finish, obviously.
First, let's talk about the Haddonfield Bulldogs. It's all going to start up front with Matt Porter.
Yeah, Matt Porter is a fantastic defensive end. You know, he's a physical player. He's not the biggest kid at 215 pounds, but what he does extremely well is he's able to get that quick first step. He's an outstanding pass rusher, and he plays the run as good as anybody that you're going to find at that position.
Over on the offensive side of the ball for West Deptford, they have a guy who just seems like he's a can't miss at the next level. His name is Vaughn Scott.
Yeah, Vaughn Scott, 30 touchdowns. And he might be the most graceful runner that Clyde Folsom has ever seen. You know, he's maybe doesn't have the most speed, but what he does is he's got tremendous vision, and he doesn't break a stride when he's running. He's able to cut like on a dime, and more importantly, he doesn't break any stride at all. So he's an outstanding running back for this team.
Clyde Folsom has created quite a legacy here at West Deptford High School. He expects this team to do great things as they've done all season long. Haddonfield hopes to bounce back against that crushing loss that they had earlier in the year at home against this West Deptford team. Stick around. We'll have the opening kickoff. It's an electric atmosphere here at West Deptford High School.
Welcome back to West Deptford High School. About to begin the kickoff. It'll be Haddonfield in the white trimmed with black and red. West Deptford kicking from left to right in their midnight black trimmed in Hunter. Group 2 final is now underway. Line drive kick in and out of the hands of the Bulldogs, and that will be a touchback.
First and 10, Haddonfield.
They're lucky. They're lucky.
Haddonfield again coming off a victory in the semifinals against an excellent Willingboro team. Needs to start quicker. They got behind 28-0 in the first meeting of these two schools. Handoff, good for about 6 yards. And head coach Frank Delano would like nothing better than to have a long, drawn-out drive here to kind of settle both his offense and his defense coming off of that last game.
Well, I mean, that's what I was trying to get across in the open. It didn't come out as good as I wanted it to. But certainly, the start of this game is so important, Rob, because, Haddonfield getting down 28-0 in that first game, if they're able to score, early on, just have a good drive, that's certainly a lot for the confidence.
And again, down the sideline, Haddonfield's Davis cuts back inside, still on his feet, inside the 10, touchdown! 74-yard touchdown run, and Haddonfield strikes first tonight.
What do you say about that confidence? I mean, now that Haddonfield sideline is just going to go crazy with a huge run early in this game. You got to give, especially with Ben Cornelius kicking, I thought he would be a factor in this game, kicking the ball deep, pinning Haddonfield back, but a huge run by Davis to get this game started.
Well, the Davis brothers, oh so dangerous. No better illustration than that last play. 11:13 remaining in this first quarter. South Jersey Group 2 Championship. Baya on to attempt the kick. It's a high snap. Haddonfield loses the football, and the conversion is no good.
But what
what a huge start for the Bulldogs. When you come into this game, you're in a hostile environment with a team who just owns championships, and tremendous blocking on the right side of that line. Slips a tackle, breaks it to the outside. Great downfield blocking by the wide receivers, and there's nothing but sidelines for Davis. Look at him be able to turn out this. Look at the speed by Davis. I mean, he's got the angles there. Little move to the inside, then you have a big defensive end chasing from the backside. Not going to be able to catch Davis. Huge, huge play for Haddonfield early in this game.
Well, again, Kevin Davis illustrating some of that tremendous speed that you spoke of. The Davis brothers are a force to be reckoned with.
He's not a little guy either. 6'1", 193 pounds, good size, but he also has those long strides at great speed, and teams in the Colonial Conference know about the Davis brothers. You see Clyde Folsom, impeccable record, 186 wins, 64 losses, just the 5 ties there, career record for a man who has only missed the playoffs once in this decade. That was in 2001. The only team out of the fall sports in field hockey, boys and girls soccer, and football, the only team to not make the playoffs was the 2001 football team. A rich tradition here, not only in football, but just the fall sports at West Deptford might be the best in South Jersey.
Vaughn Scott, who we spoke of, back to receive the kick of Baya. And it's a short bouncer taken at the 26. And now a whole host of trouble for West Deptford as Fox gets hunted down.
Fox hunted down, huh? You're in playoff form. Coming out with some good ones already. You're firing it like the Haddonfield offense coming out like that.
Penalty flag on the field. This looks like it's going to go against the Eagles.
Not the start that Clyde Folsom wanted. You know, you had to figure out Frank Delano is an outstanding coach, Rob, for Haddonfield. And he's really, you know, Jim Horner was a legendary coach at Haddonfield for a number of years. And Frank Delano comes from Gloucester Catholic, a guy who loves sports, lives sports each day, and he comes in here and does an outstanding job. Last couple of years, Haddonfield has been one of the best teams in South Jersey. And this is a team into the playoffs once again. There you see Jay Cannon, the quarterback, going to get his opportunity to try and answer the huge run by Davis.
Folsom gives him the play to start with here as the ball is spotted at the 7-yard line. So you couldn't have much more adversity to start with if you are West Deptford. Poor field position. That, of course, subsequent to that big run by Kevin Davis. First down and 10 for this vaunted West Deptford offense. 11:08 remaining deep in their own end, and the handoff inside, and not much room for Vaughn Scott.
Vaughn Scott, a kid we talked about in the opener, just a tremendous runner. There you see the offense, Jay Cannon, the quarterback, with Fioron, Cornelius, and Scott in the backfield. Jason Fox, wide receiver. Jameel Pollard, one of the excellent offensive line, Marquise Winston, Roan Hines, Moser, Jordan Haynes, Jordan Haynes has been playing really good football at that tight end position. Somebody that Folsom had talked about a little bit with us in the pregame.
Second down and 7 at the 10-yard line. Hannon rolls a little dump pass outside, and that falls incomplete. You know, Hannon is one of those kids, Shawn, that he just has the intangible, and that's what makes him so successful. He doesn't necessarily run the fastest, throw the farthest, but he's a leader out there, and he leads by example. Let's take a look at this Bulldogs defense.
Yeah, the defensive line is Reisman, Hughes, and Neck. The linebackers, Matthew Porter, Robert Perkins, Carson Stack, and Matt Baya. The defensive backs are Rodriguez, Davis, Simonicki, and Dengler.
Third down now, and West Deptford's going to be forced to punt it away after the handoff to Scott. So Haddonfield with an appreciably different start than last time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they come in. Now, you know, West Deptford really talked it up. They really circled the Haddonfield game. They came in with a lot of intensity in that first game. They jump out to a huge lead, and they put so much emotion into that first half. That's what Folsom talked about, is maybe, you know, they're kind of spent. You know, they don't – this is a team – this is going to be interesting here. I talked about, you know, not having much adversity through the year. Well, they're faced with it right now, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles respond. And 3 and out, giving up the touchdown.
Kick is a good one, taken at the 46-yard line. And again, right up the middle. Still on his feet, it's Baya. And Baya with a fine return inside the 30-yard line. And the Bulldogs with excellent field position with 9:29 remaining.
Right now, Haddonfield just slipping out of tackles. He's seen a number of chances for West Deptford to bring him down, and just poor tackling right now by the Eagles. They had a chance to get Davis on his touchdown run at the line of scrimmage. Wasn't able to do so. They're going to have to shore that up as this game continues. But it's going to be very interesting to see how the Eagles respond, especially if they would get down by another touchdown. This is a team that has not faced a deficit or anything like that throughout the season where they have gotten behind.
First down at 10. Again, the handoff and big chunks right now. This Haddonfield offense is just blowing away the defense. Chris Dengler on the carry, the 5'11 junior, showing some of his speed.
Here you see the Bulldogs offense. You see Kevin Davis, the quarterback, Dengler, Perkins in the backfield. Rodriguez and Baya split up. Baya, an excellent receiver. You remember him with Phil Baya, his brother, the quarterback last year. Cashman, Stack, Lynch, Reisman, Porter, and Alex Walter be the tight end for the Bulldogs.
Davis again underneath center. Second down and short. He'll hand it off, and again, right up the middle. This time to Dengler, and that looks very, very close to a first down.
See the Eagles defense. R.J. Falls has been outstanding as a defensive end for this program. Pollard, Snow, Roan, and Haynes. James Shields, linebacker, along with Gerald. And Fearon, Fox, Smith, and Scott in the secondary.
This is a big play for this West Deptford defense. 3rd down and 1. West Deptford back on their heels, yielding a touchdown in the first series. That's something that is very rare. Davis fakes, keeps with room. Davis with more than enough for the first down, close to the 15-yard line.
A good read that time by Davis. Yeah, he's a kid that comes in, we talked about his speed, but also another guy who's been in big game situations. He's able to learn under Phil Baya. Phil Baya was an outstanding athlete, Rob. I think you would probably remember his play. And if you remember, look at Matt Baya. You have guys on this roster that can make plays for you in Haddonfield, and they've really spread the ball around. They don't have too many guys that had so many catches, but they have guys with 16, 15, 17, 18 catches, and they spread the ball around. They keep everybody involved in the offense. And Delano, kind of by design, would like to keep everybody fresh and give them an opportunity to touch the ball. That certainly carries some expectations from everybody.
Little end around again. Dengler thrown down at about the 10-yard line. A pickup of about 6 yards. And right now, West Deptford just not able to answer this Haddonfield offense.
Yeah, and right now the defensive ends have to do a better job. They're not getting that push off field, and the linebackers, once that defensive end goes upfield, you have to fill those holes. Right now, West Deptford getting pushed back on their heels a little bit, and that's not something you're used to seeing from the Eagle program.
There's one concern perhaps for Coach Delano right now, is that maybe they're scoring too quickly. This West Deptford offense can certainly put up some points. We've seen that in the last couple weeks. I formation for Davis. And they'll hand it off right up the middle. In for the touchdown. Chris Dengler. And Dengler doubles up the point total here for the Bulldogs. And that looked too easy. Now remember last time a botched conversion attempt. They're going to try it again. Baya on to attempt the point after. Kick is up and the kick is true. Haddonfield on top 13-0. And this crowd is in shock right now. There you see the Haddonfield side. They are basking in this quick start.
Take a look at this touchdown. You're going to see Cashman, number 73, 6'7", that offensive tackle, able to get a push on that left side. A good, strong, powerful run by Dengler. But, Cashman along that left side is as big as you're going to find. 6'7", 252 pounds. Yeah, this is a team that can play physical. They're not huge. They don't have a really big physical presence, but they're a strong team. They do a good job in the offseason working out, and they can match the physical play of West Deptford. Now, will they be able to sustain that type of effort throughout the game? That'll remain to be seen. I mean, the one thing you could look at in that first game is certainly Haddonfield was able to do that against West Deptford in the first game. Will West Deptford be able to stay in their physical style of play, getting down by a couple of touchdowns?
Now, if you're a West Deptford fan, you can't be concerned. You have seen a team score 40 or more points in every game since October the 15th. There you see the temperature, 38 degrees, and the wind at 12 miles per hour. Short kick taken at the 28-yard line, knocked out of bounds at about the 36. Shields giving West Deptford appreciably better field position this time around.
You mentioned the points. West Deptford is 30 points away from equaling Delsey's 511-point total of last year, of Delsey having a record that was held by West Deptford in South Jersey. Delsey took it over last year with a 511 points. Recently, with West Deptford scoring over 100 points in the playoffs games against Paulsboro, 56th spot there. West Deptford in position now with 30 points to become the South Jersey all-time scoring leader for a single season. And they're not thinking about that right now. They just want to get 6 on the board.
Again, you see the talented running ability of Vaughn Scott. Now, this Haddonfield defense has not yielded more than 2 touchdowns to any team except Haddonfield. And they've already scored 2 touchdowns in less than 6 minutes of play here.
Yeah, it's no fluke that Haddonfield's in this position. This is a really good football team. And, you know, credit has to go to Frank Delano. You lose a guy like Phil Byan last year, you know, we were just dumbfounded by his skill and his athletic ability. And you know, you lose a guy like that, and this team did not skip a beat. They have some really talented players up front, and they have the skill positions that they might even be a better team this year overall.
Second down, again, the handoff, and it's loose. The ball is loose, and it looks like Haddonfield is on it.
Wow, what
no indication yet from the referees. And now it is a Bulldog recovery of the fumble.
This is just a horrendous start for the Eagles. Not something that any local fan has seen in some time. There you see a good, strong hit that time by number 33, Chris Davis. Just pops that ball loose.
Cornelius just loses the football. And that's something, Shawn, that we may see more of on a cold, crisp evening like tonight. That ball gets slippery. First down and 10. Davis working out of the shotgun. Again, he keeps. We're going to have a penalty here, and this is going to go against the Bulldogs. And right now, that's the only thing that can stop him.
Tremendous game plan coming in so far for Haddonfield. Playing a little power football, but more importantly, the tackling of West Deptford on defense has been suspect to start.
A legal shift will back up the Bulldogs 5 yards. They'll retreat into their own territory. First down and 15. Ball spotted at the 49-yard line of the Bulldogs. You can see there the Eagles cheerleaders trying to keep warm. Very, very cold night given the temperature coupled with the wind. Stack left, pitch, and cut down in the backfield. Haddonfield going backwards right now as Dangler is brought down for a 4-yard loss.
Josh Roan knifed through on the right side of that defense. Did a good job of getting the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage. A couple guys cleaned up on the play. R.J. Falls was back there, and that's the job by the defensive end. That time you saw Haynes, the right defensive end for West Deptford, getting a good push into the backfield and nowhere to go. Once you have that, then all the defensive backs can come up, and because your ball carrier is not going to be able to square up and hit the hole quick enough.
Second down, Davis fakes, he rolls to his left, and now he's in trouble. Escapes one tackle, he's got a lot of room now, far side, across the 45, and finally cut out of bounds just past the original line of scrimmage. But again, you see the elusiveness of Davis, and his ability to think on his feet.
Yeah, what's interesting on that play, Rob, and I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but he's able to break down and he can create with those legs. But the linebackers had a good pursuit on him. Shields had a good angle on him, but because of his speed, it plays a little doubt into your mind. And he takes, even though he has the angle, he's too cautious there. He could have probably made a play behind the line of scrimmage, but because of Davis and his ability to run the football, you kind of got to wait and just make sure, okay, well, I'll push him out of bounds. We'll let him get a couple yards, but I'm not going to take any chances and have him go by me.
3rd and 10, I'd be surprised if they put this ball in the air. Davis back to pass, rolls to his left. They will. Davis now keeps, looks for
Great
time.
coverage.
Now buying more time, throws, has a man, and a very dangerous pass is defended well by West Deptford's James Shields.
Yeah, excellent coverage by West Deptford downfield, and James Shields makes a heck of a play diving to knock that one down. Again, you see Davis's ability to look the opposite side of the field and try to make a play. It is a dangerous play because if Shields is able to be in the right position, that's 6 points the other way.
So 4th down now, and Baya will take over the punting duties as well. West Deptford's Vaughn Scott is back at his 15-yard line. Wouldn't be surprised if Baya angles this punt. Baya goes right at Vaughn Scott, and it's going to be a short punt that will find its place at the 21-yard line. So West Deptford escapes the turnover. They'll take over with 4:45 remaining in this first quarter. Well, you get a sense of this being the complete opposite of the last game, Shawn, where West Deptford came out completely fired up, really hungry, and Haddonfield a little bit back on its feet. Now, Coach Folsom talked a little bit about the fact that they haven't had a competitive game in some time. He doesn't know how they're going to respond initially. But if there's one thing you have to feel good about if you're Coach Folsom, you have a potent offense, and 13 points is certainly not insurmountable. Handoff, not much there. Haddonfield's defense holding Scott, and that's going to be a theme they're going to need to continue tonight.
Again, talked about Porter in the open, and Porter is just, he might be one of the more underrated defensive players, certainly in this section in Group 2, but maybe even in South Jersey. This is a kid with 9 sacks, 72 tackles, led the team. That's why we talked about him in the open. We tried to a little bit. We were we had the national anthem going on. There was kids around us. We were a little confused in the open, but that's something I wanted to talk about was Porter's ability to make plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Across the middle, it's tipped, but it is brought down in traffic, and that looks to be enough for the first down. Jordan Haynes, who has really emerged as a leader for this West Deptford football team, comes away with a pass that looked like it was deflected at the line.
Over the years, West Deptford has always had those really good tight ends that can block, catch the football, do a little bit of everything for you. Good leaders. Zach Smith comes to mind, who was just named the Patriot Defensive Player of the Year. They just have a long list of players at that position that really play good football. And, congratulations to Smith being the Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year.
Holding against West Deptford. Haddonfield right now is defending against that run, not allowing Cornelius or Scott much room to operate. And the holding call will back up West Deptford even further. You see Clyde Folsom, Shawn, and when I started my teaching career, I want to say, 17 years ago, it was just when Clyde Folsom came here, and I was student teaching here, and this was a football program that most people can't remember that was essentially in disarray. And not enough can be said about the job that Clyde Folsom has done to make this into a true powerhouse in South Jersey. And a big hit laid out here. And again, Haddonfield has come early and come often.
And not just at this level. You look through the youth program, and the youth program and the feeder programs here in West Deptford has done a tremendous job of starting to build a little bit of a tradition. They run the same style of offense. They run the same things. So this way, as the kids get to the high school level, they really know what they're doing. So they have that cohesion between the high school level and the youth level, and they kind of work together in sync. And what it's done is the West Deptford youth program has become a better program because of it. You have these terrific players like Vaughn Scott going on to big colleges and playing some really competitive football.
It looked like Alex Walter jumped off sides. We'll see whether he was drawn.
Splits wrong, 126-yard track.
Looks like he got himself into the neutral zone and they shut it down. 2:34 left, first quarter. Haddonfield, shocker, 13 quick points. They're on top, 13-0.
One of the other things that has made this program where it is right now is Jason Morrell years, where he was one of the offensive linemen. That group of kids really dedicated themselves to the weight room.
Handoff right up the gut, staying on his feet, driving a loose ball again. And it looks like Haddonfield has fallen on it. R.J. Falls loses the football, and the Bulldogs come away with another big turnover. Well, you have to credit Falls with the running here.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see this, a guy who's just trying to give it his all, and this is no fault to Falls of, just trying to give a little bit extra here, staying on his feet. Got to make sure you hold on to that football. Gets hit, the ball pops out. And Haddonfield again at the right place at the right time.
That looked like Dan Simonecki, who laid the wood on Walls. 1st and 10, Davis under center. They'll hand it off, and a spin move by Dengler picks him up about 5 yards.
Another opportunity in the backfield goes awry for West Deptford to try and stop the ball carrier before he's able to pick up yardage. And again, that tackling not sharp right now for this West Deptford team. They're running behind Cashman, number 73, on that left side of that offensive line. He's such a big kid and has done an outstanding job of blocking so far in this one.
2nd down, we'll call it 6, a minute 35 and counting remaining in this first quarter. Davis keeps short side of the field. He's upended at about the 15. They'll pick up about 3.
Yeah, Scott comes up and makes the play, but the right side of that defensive line for West Deptford with Haynes and company does a good job. Haynes and Roan that time is able to maintain their position with the offensive line. Shed the blocks and they're able to make the tackle. They might have gained a couple of yards, but not much running room there.
3rd down, and we'll call it a short 3. Ball at the 25-yard line. This is outside of field goal range, so you have to think
this is probably 2-down territory.
4-down territory, high formation. And it looks like we have a timeout called by the Bulldogs.
They might realize that too. The play call that they had, they might have been thinking about something. All right, it's 3rd down and 3. Maybe we're going to call a certain play. But hey, let's think about this. We have a couple of plays now in the position we are on this field. Maybe we can call something a little different than what we had planned at this 3rd and 3 spot.
Of course, this is the South Jersey Group 2 Championship. We'll also have the Group 1 Championship between Glassboro and Paulsboro. That will be played tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. Group 3 has Delsey taking on Lacey, and in Group 4, Cherokee, who has been a juggernaut year after year, looking to complete a perfect season.
Yeah, how about Delsey? The Group 2 championship last season, beating Haddonfield in that final. Then they jump up to Group 3. Doesn't matter, bring on another team, bring on another few opponents in the playoffs, and we'll get there. This time they have to travel to Lacey Township, but there's some programs around this area in Gloucester County that certainly
I think it
are just a year in and year out. Delsey's program is certainly one of them, the Salmar case. Sorry.
3rd down, we'll call it 3. Again, working out of the eye. Davis has one receiver split right. They'll hand it off right up the middle. Pickup of maybe 1 at most.
Well, I don't know what play call that one was, but it should have included blocking R.J. Falls if you're going to run right at him, because there was nobody on R.J. Falls that time. You can't run at a guy like R.J. Falls and not account for him. And that time,
well, we mentioned
number 45's right there.
We mentioned that this was going to be 4-down territory. They tried to just get a push up front, and this time West Deptford denied that. Clock continuing to move. It looks like they may be able to get one play off here before the end of the first quarter, 9 seconds left. Again, Davis out of the eye, 4th down. Big play here. Good drop, Davis eludes the first man. There's a penalty flag down, has a man wide open, and it's defended. Knocked down by the Eagles. The flag looks like it's going to go against Haddonfield. We'll wait for the call down on the field.
What an outstanding play by Jason Fox. 5'11", 180 pounds. Looked like he was beaten on the play. Comes back, is able to get some fingertips on that.
Penalty, offsides, Haddonfield. Penalty decline. That will do it for the first quarter. We'll step away. We're through one. South Jersey Group 2 championship game. Haddonfield on top of West Deptford, 13-0. Welcome back. Second quarter has begun. First play for the Eagles, a pickup of about 4. Actually, we'll call it 6. Second down and 6 here for the Eagles. You see Hannon getting the plays from the side, run in by Tom Jakubowski. Jakubowski, a family of many athletes. It's a name people who follow South Jersey sports should be very familiar
Audubon, right? Some Audubon Jakubowskis.
Yep. Handoff inside and falls. The big bruising runner. Actually, that was Cornelius.
Cornelius also does the kicking duties, and I thought he would play a huge role in today's game. But he is a big kid. Got great size at 5'9", 190, but he is a very powerful runner. He's got that great size, low center of gravity, strong runner, put his head down and knock you over. That time able to pick up the first down for the Eagles, who really need a big play.
Well, I tell you, given the way this game started for them, coupled with a pair of turnovers, they have to be pleased that they're only down by 13 points. Little handoff, not much there. Second down, we'll call it 9. Second quarter just underway. Clock inside of 11 minutes remaining, and West Deptford content to grind it on out.
It's been 46 seasons since Haddonfield last won a championship, and that was not decided on the field. That was decided by the writers. I believe it was.
That was your junior year of high school?
Junior year. So, oh, you're so funny.
Looked like somebody jumped on West Deptford. Procedure against the Eagles, so they will back themselves up 5 yards, make it second down and 14. We'll see whether Hannon goes to the air. Clyde Folsom joked that Hannon doesn't necessarily have the strongest arm, but he led him to an undefeated season here. He led him to a championship in the passing league. I think that speaks volumes about his ability as a passer. Joe Montana wasn't the strongest armed quarterback, but he had himself quite a career. Hannon sets up the screen, and it's read perfectly. Fine play made, and Haddonfield sniffed that out.
That was Kevin Davis. And this kid's dialed up as he came into this game. The big run to start things, and then here defensively, he was lucky that ball wasn't picked because he read that all the way. Now West Deptford with that 3rd and 19. Watch this play here, and this is red. You see number 16. Excellent job by Davis. Pollard wasn't able to get out and get the block on him, but West Deptford lucky they just lost a few yards on that play. It could have been a lot worse.
That's a case where you're better off just dropping the football. Right up the middle, Vaughn, Scott, no, it's Cornelius. And he won't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. So West Deptford shot themselves in the foot with that penalty and unable to capitalize on the turnover of downs from Haddonfield earlier. They will be forced to punt it away to the Bulldogs. Baya and it looks like Davis back to return. And maybe Dangler. Good punt. Taken at the 33 and hit immediately is Dangler. So he'll take 2 yards on the return. Lucky to hold on to that. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, coming into the game, Rob, you think, okay, well, if West Deptford's going to kick off, you have Cornelius, wind kind of at his back a little bit. He'll be able to pin Haddonfield deep. And that was really an opportunity. You think, okay, West Deptford's in good shape here. You're going to need to drive yourself 80 yards. And you see the 31-28 victory that we talked about in that first game. It looked like West Deptford was set up for a good first quarter, and then Davis turned that all around with that touchdown.
Trips left for Davis. He keeps. Now finds his way outside the tackle, still on his feet. Davis angling towards the sideline, and a big pickup there. A great individual effort by the quarterback, Kevin Davis.
And this kid's he's breaking tackles right now. That's not something you're used to seeing if you're on the sideline for West Deptford. And again, the opportunity to get him right there, right there at the sticks, and you're not able to do so, and then he's going to pick up 7 or 8 yards. They have to be able to make that play and make adjustments to make sure they get Davis to the ground.
You can see the ball squirted loose there, and it was Davis who fortunately had to come out of his hands and out of bounds by the Haddonfield sideline. The handoff, and absolutely smoked coming out of nowhere. And West Deptford's number 77,
that's Pollard.
Jameel Pollard, almost decapitated his first Bulldog.
Yeah, Robert Perkins, the fullback, 6'1", 192, going to come through the line. Meet number 77, Jameel Pollard. That's a decleater. That's the definition of a decleater. Pollard, number 77, with that tremendous size of his. Only a junior, 6 foot. They list him at 6'5", 280 pounds. He's every bit of it.
Third down, Davis working out of the shotgun. And now Delano doesn't like what he sees. It looks like he's going to call timeout. He does. Delano has burned 2 timeouts here already. But again, a critical play. Haddonfield would like nothing better than to continue to drive it for no other reason, to eat up some of the clock here in this first half. You see the West Deptford 2010 schedule. We talked before, they have not had a game that has been competitive essentially since that Collingswood game where they scored a touchdown victory over the Calls. But, essentially, you look after that game, 40 points or more every single week.
Yeah, the offense has certainly gotten a lot better. And you're right, that concerns you. When you go in and you say, listen, we haven't really even faced many 3rd and 1s. We haven't faced on our offensive side a 3rd and 8 and how we react to that. When your team doesn't go through those type of scenarios, you have to worry as a coach coming into a game. Not to say, okay, when was the last time we have a 3rd and long? That was week 4. That's a remarkable job by this team and what they've been able to accomplish here in the Colonial Conference. But yet, when you get into playoff action, that's going to scare you.
That Barnegat victory, very, very impressive. 56-7 last week against Paulsboro. That was against the team that was frankly depleted. You guys out there probably are familiar with what transpired. A little problem on YouTube. Davis back to pass, and he'll throw it underneath. And now we're going to have a penalty flag. That's in the secondary. That may be a holding penalty against the West Deptford Eagles. We'll see.
That flag throw was a better pass than the one by the quarterback. That was about 30 yards from downfield.
And this one's going to go against Haddonfield, actually.
A little offensive interference.
That will force a 4th down here. Certainly West Deptford will decline it.
Yeah, that story is a real interesting one from the YouTube perspective. I'm not going to get into it too much, but a very interesting story is, I'm sure if you look on the internet for the amount of students that are within a school, how many offensive YouTube videos you would find if you looked on there. Some of the kids in the school, I don't think you would find a couple.
Is that where you've been picking up your lingo?
Because
I heard you downstairs. We can't repeat this on television.
Whoa, I'm clean. I'm clean. Everybody knows me. I'm a clean, wholesome young man.
4th down. That was a loss of down in addition to the interference. And Baya gets it away.
Wow,
look at the bounce. I tell you what, everything right now is going Haddonfield's way. That will bounce all the way inside the 10-yard line. That is truly a remarkable punt.
the cliche, they're getting all the bounces. I mean, that truly applies. I mean, Haddonfield has gotten every bounce so far to go their way, and they've made some opportunities for themselves, but luck is not on the side of the kids wearing green.
Unofficially, that is a 67-yard punt. I tell you, that bounce, it looked like they were using a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it didn't look like a football.
It did not. First down and 10 at the 7-yard line. Truly impressive. That may be the play of the game. And now into the secondary. And finally brought down. And that's a touchdown-saving tackle as Vaughn Scott is tackled after a nice pickup.
Yeah, see, Vaughn Scott, he's not the fastest runner that West Deptford has. You see a great block by Pollard. Watch this little cut to the inside. Doesn't slow down much. Boom. See ya. And he's going to get by the cornerback. And again, you have Davis, maybe a little face mask on Scott.
No, he touched his face mask. No pull on there. Handoff right up the gut. And Cornelius had some room but got tripped up. And you get a sense that West Deptford really gaining confidence after that run from Vaughn Scott.
See, against this Haddonfield team, they have the athletes and the speed to match West Deptford. So there's runs by Scott and company that have gone for quick touchdowns through the course of the season. You're going to have a proactive drive from West Deptford, which they're not so much accustomed to all the time. They're accustomed to having those big strikes. Well, Haddonfield can match the speed against this team, so some of the drives are going to need to be longer for West Deptford, than they're normally getting throughout the season.
Another first down here for West Deptford, 6:23 and counting left in this first half. It's been a relatively quick first half, very few completions, most plays via the run in this cold night here at West Deptford High School. Again, Hannon will hand it off on a little end around, bouncing off one tackle, now cutting inside and picking up close to 10 yards. A fine run by Robbie Fearon.
I like the way this kid runs the football. He's just fun to watch. Yeah, he looked like he was running sideways on a couple of those on that play. He just has an ability to find little creases and be able to find big chunks of yardage.
Second down and 1 inside of Bulldog territory. A little end around now. Once again, West Deptford will have more than enough for the first down here as Vaughn Scott picks up a nice chunk. We'll call it 6. And the Eagles are starting to find their stride.
That time, Hines was out in front of him, Bill Hines.
And a chop block.
That's a big penalty.
That's going to hurt West Deptford. That is a spot foul.
They'll back this one up. West Deptford, again, they have the ability to get 10 or 15 yards on each carry. But against a very good Haddonfield defense that has played well against the run, when you're getting these penalties, you really just stop your drive. How many times have we talked about that through the years, Rob, is these types of penalties can be drive killers, especially in playoff time when you face good defenses.
Second down and 10 for the Eagles. And Hannon has had 1 completion thus far tonight. In motion at Scott. Hannon back to pass down the middle, has his man, but overthrows the streaking Tom Jakubowski.
Yeah, in coverage that time was Nick Rodriguez, a senior, 6'2", 175, not giving much separation with the receiver right in the teeth of that defense. So Hannon thrown into the wind, maybe a little too much on that pass, but certainly was able to get it through that wind and get another penalty.
Personal foul against the Bulldogs.
A big one. Would have brought up 3rd and 10. Now it'll be a first down, West Deptford into Haddonfield territory. A big blow to the Bulldog defense.
Well, penalties have been a factor here early, and it looked like the penalty was going to just stop this West Deptford drive. Instead, Haddonfield returns the favor, and that is the bane of any head coach. First down now for the Eagles at the 44-yard line. 5:01 left in this first half. Scott in motion, gets the handoff, cuts back, and not much doing there.
Davis is just playing out of his mind right now. Number 16, Kevin Davis, on both the offensive and defensive sides of the football. This kid came to play. Kevin, a senior, mentioned the 6-foot frame, 6'1", 193 pounds, is just causing havoc against this West Deptford offense. That time takes on a couple of blockers and just stuffs the play. Not anywhere to go for the West Deptford ball carrier.
Hannon rolls to his right, has a man underneath, finds him, and he'll pick up about 9.
A nice job that time by Jacobowski. Jacobowski is 6'3", 185 pounds. Not going to look to try to make the big play. Here's they're going to try to roll out Hannon here, give him some opportunity and some time. Good blocking up front. And watch Jacobowski, just going to come back to the football, make sure he makes the grab. So many times you see kids try and make a play and then stay upright so that they can make the big play, but a good job of just looking that football in.
On Scott, they'll have enough for the first down. 3:45 left. This has been a protracted drive by the Eagles, eating up huge chunks of clock. We'll see whether or not that botched conversion attempt will play a role before it's all said and done. Clock restarts after they spot the football at the 33-yard line. 3:33 and counting. First down and 10 Eagles. Hannon under center with Cornelius in the backfield. Again, end around, and it's Scott. Scott with room. Scott angling towards the sideline, and he is knocked out of bounds after a nice pickup. Once again, Vaughn Scott featured in this Eagles offense.
Yeah, Scott, again, that graceful style of running, just looking for a hole to open up here. And Haddonfield does a nice job of stringing this play out, nowhere to go except for out of bounds and toward the sideline. Again, you see Rodriguez cleaning up on the play, but the West Deptford offense is matched by the speed of the Haddonfield defense being able to go from sideline to sideline.
And Cornelius very close to the first down. It looks like he may be just short. Depends on the spot. Looks like he got a generous spot. And they give him the first down call. So pleased with the referee's decision. First down and 10 Eagles. Ball on the 23-yard line. Again, clock continuing to move here. We are inside of 3 minutes remaining. Again, it's Scott. Scott right up the middle, driving forward. He'll pick up about 5 or 6.
A good, strong run by Scott. Nice drive being put together by West Deptford. And Jake Hannon just manages the team extremely well. Real smart kid, like to attend Rutgers University or Maryland to pursue a career in sports medicine. Just knows football. Good knowledge of the game. He's able to handle that quick changes that happen in the sport.
Second down again, Fearon around the end. Fearon with room. First down, Fearon. And he'll have more than enough down to about the 10-yard line.
I just love the way this kid plays. Now he's looking for a hole, he's looking for a spot, and he knows where the chains are, and he's going to just throw his body, which is not the biggest one out there. Now Fearon only is listed at 5'8", 165 pounds, but the senior knows where the sticks is, knows where he needs to get, and he'll just give up his body to throw himself for a first down.
West Deptford has the full complement of timeouts. They have 3. Clock continuing to move. And again, it's Hannon. Hannon, play action pass. He's in trouble. He'll throw underneath and just get rid of it. Wise decision by Hannon. down to 127 left first half.
Yeah, he had 86. Alex Walter, the junior, 6'5", 198, breathing down his neck. Just got to get rid of the football sometimes and live to play another down. Good decision by Hannon, getting rid of the football and getting back to Fear. And his dad played football for Clearview in '81. Also calls him Buzz. Big fan of Buzz Lightyear back in the day. Little Rob Fear, and maybe people don't know about that about him.
Second down and 10. Again, it's Scott. End around. Scott brought down from behind. Fine play made by Alex Walter.
Yeah, at defensive end position, you can make some big plays. And right now, Walter's doing it. On back-to-back downs, Walter's able to get into the backfield, force an incomplete pass, and that time tracks down Hannon from behind and makes a play behind the line of scrimmage. Now, at defensive end position, if you can get upfield, you can really impact the drive.
58 seconds left. Fearon in motion. Hannon. He rolls to his right. Hannon with a lot of time and room. Now getting pressure. Hannon. And he's cut down from behind. And they say the ball is loose.
Down.
So
You
this
see
will
a
bring up.
svelte. You see that? He's down 40 pounds, jumping around the field like crazy. Frank Delano. You could do one of them weight loss commercials right now with his stature of how he's going for the last couple of years in South Jersey. You know, like a little cable Haddonfield, South Jersey weight loss ad.
He looks great. I mean, I knew he'd lost some weight. He said 40 pounds. I was in shock. I mean, I didn't think he had 40 pounds to lose.
No, it's not like he was. Not like he was. Not like he was fat.
No.
Yeah. Take a look here. See if this was a fumble. This play just took too long to develop. I mean, there was room there to the outside and just too slow. Yeah, I know you got to wait for your blocker, but it just did not materialize. You're waiting too long, and that ball's down.
I don't know.
As he hit the target. He was down. But too long for that play.
I wouldn't mind taking another look at that. Well, I think he was thinking pass first. I don't think it was a designed run.
Yeah, but you have to, as a quarterback, you're right, but as a quarterback, if you're rolling out and you see you have one man to beat, if I can make a play in the open field and either cut right or cut left, I should be able to get that. As a running back who's, when a quarterback in high school is another running back.
Well, remember that he's not the fleetest of foot either. So, if you can find that man in the end zone, that's 6 versus what we're facing right here, which is a 4th down, a big play. Instead of going for the field goal, they're going to go for it. Hannon fakes, has time, across the middle, picked off, in and out of the hands, no, picked off. It is picked off by the Bulldogs. Well, it's frankly irrelevant that it was an interception. Most importantly, it is a stop.
Yeah, and there's just nowhere to throw the football. Excellent job defensively by Haddonfield, knowing that they're probably going to throw the football. Everyone doesn't buy the fakes. Secondary and terrific coverage. Just good break on the football. Able to pull it in, give his team an opportunity at the 20.
Nick Rodriguez had it in between the 2 and the 1. Unfortunately for him, there was another Bulldog who was able to pick that up.
Yeah, let's just go to halftime. Holding West Deptford right now to 0 points through 2 quarters. This is the Haddonfield defense that came in with a game plan, and it has worked.
Well, that'll do it for the first half. We are through one half of play here at West Deptford High School. Group 2 South Jersey Finals. It is the Bulldogs on top of the Eagles, 13-0. Welcome back to West Deptford High School. Second half about to get underway. Haddonfield Bulldogs on top, 13-0. Rob Christ along with Shawn Leary here on the Gloucester County Educational Network. And the kick is away, taken at the 15-yard line. And right away, special teams plays a role. The ball is loose. The ball is loose. And Haddonfield pointing that they have the football. Bulldogs come away with it. And the second half is a reprise of the first half. Another key turnover here to start things.
Wow, you just thought, all right, West Deptford is able to come out, get the football here, have a nice drive. It's a football game again, but that is a costly turnover. One of the things I didn't like on that play is the referees didn't come in and immediately try and see what was going on with the football. They kind of just walked toward it.
Davis under center. Buy-in motion, ball is loose again, and it looks like West Deptford came away with it. They did. What a turn here as West Deptford gets it right back. Two turnovers in 12 seconds.
Well, here, that just doesn't get the snap. And that's a mistake by Davis. He goes backward before he gets his hands on the football. He's already going back to hand the football off before he's able to get the snap off. And that's a problem. That's a mistake by the quarterback that time, not the center.
Brought down immediately is Cornelius. Second down after the short pickup. Haddonfield has done a very nice job of bottling up the talented Vaughn Scott.
With John Hughes, a senior, 6'3", 300 pounds in the middle of that defensive line. Has had a nice game at that nose guard position.
I don't know if we can get a shot of the flag. The wind has picked up appreciably here. Handed back to pass across the middle, and that falls incomplete. Looking for Fox on the post.
There just doesn't seem like a tempo to this West Deptford offense today. They've had a couple nice plays, and a penalty will back them up. There hasn't been that steady flow of a West Deptford offense that we're accustomed to seeing. There's a steady flow of wind right now in this game where blowing at the backs of West Deptford. So
great crew right on cue, led by director Stan Ritter, illustrating just how windy it is here tonight. Right now, West Deptford with the wind to their back. We'll see if that plays a role when we get to crunch time in the fourth quarter. Third down, and now whistles blow once again. We have not had a shortage of timeouts and penalties here, and Clyde Folsom deciding to burn a timeout here because, again, this is a critical series. You'd love to come away with a minimum of a first down to start to generate some momentum.
Yeah, you're right. I think that, coming out was paramount for West Deptford to at least have a decent drive. They see the Haddonfield schedule. The loss to West Deptford, but then they started to get things going with a couple of big wins over Brook Haddon Township, beating up on them a little bit. You remember, you look at the Collingswood score. Collingswood up on West Deptford in their game, and West Deptford had to come from behind in that one. And Haddonfield won 62-3 against that Collingswood team. A couple of big wins. Manchester Township. Frank Delano thought that was a
scores.
tough team.
That Willingboro score is incorrect.
Yeah, I think there's a couple.
38-27 was the score of their victory over the Chimeras in the semifinals. Here we go, third down, Hannon rolling right, looking, running out of room, throws it up, and falls incomplete. And Hannon trying to find Jakubowski. I don't know whether he would have been in bounds, but a big hit laid out by the Bulldog.
And he had Jakubowski open. Just wasn't able to get him to the football or get him the football before that. But he did have Jakubowski beating the secondary along the sideline and just didn't see him in time.
That'll bring up a punt for the Eagles on their first series, essentially their first series here after turning it over.
I would back up if I was Haddonfield. This kid is a big foot in Ben Cornelius.
Cornelius gets away a good one. Back to take it, and Haddonfield will take it inside the 20-yard line. Now, Dangler with room. Dangler, a big return. Dangler across midfield, cuts across the grade. He's at the 40-yard line. Dangler finally cut down at the 34-yard line by West Deptford's Ben Cornelius. What a fine run by Dangler.
Coming into this game, I thought West Deptford would have the advantage in special teams, and so far they have not. With Cornelius's big leg, they're just not being able to make the tackles. They're just not bringing anybody down. And the speed of Haddonfield has negated West Deptford's speed and then some. Yeah, this is a Bulldog coming in. They didn't match up favorably with West Deptford, but they've even beat him in a category I thought where West Deptford would have the advantage in that special team.
49-yard punt return, and look at Davis on his feet into the secondary, cutting back, and finally cut down inside the 20-yard line. We see the second Davis, Chris, with a big run.
Well, he separated his shoulder 10 plays into the Willingboro game, and he's now able to get onto the field. He has fresh legs, and this is their starting tailback and linebacker, and you can see him here. Yeah, this is a kid that's strong, will make guys miss in the open field up against a player in the secondary. He's going to win most of those battles. Look at that big stiff arm by Davis. This is a big, strong kid, and this Haddonfield team is clicking on all cylinders. They are looking right now like they're unstoppable in this game, and I'm a little bit shocked by it and how West Deptford's been able to play in this week.
Chris Davis in the shotgun, and cut down is Kevin Davis.
You know, Clyde Folsom had talked about how was his team going to be able to respond in a clutch situation, in a 3rd and long, or if his team's defense is up against 3rd and 1. You know, he can't like what he sees right now because his team has not at all responded to being in an adverse position. They've kind of gone backwards, and Haddonfield looks like the team a little bit hungrier than the Eagles in this one.
9:30 remaining in this third quarter. Haddonfield looking to shock the Eagles. 13-0 the lead, 2nd down and 9. The pitch, Dangler looks to cut it inside. Dangler chopped down, and now a penalty flag.
This might be a hold. R.J. Falls, I think he might have got held and still made the play, number 45.
Yeah, that was a fine play by Falls.
Yeah, Falls is even signaling for the referees, and I think he's right. I think he got the hold there, and they're going to back him up. Nice play by 45 Falls. If you remember him in playoff time, I think it was last year, made a couple of plays of block punt just to open up the playoff game for West Deptford last year. And this is a kid who knows when the lights are at its brightest that he's going to be able to make plays for this West Deptford Eagles. Somebody needs to make a play for West Deptford. Somebody needs to get the crowd into the game, negate a touchdown here, get the ball in the offensive side, put it in Hannon's hands and see if they can get Vaughn Scott going, because this is a stagnant group right now for West Deptford, and it just doesn't seem like there is that much intensity. It doesn't seem like somebody's there to make a play, but there's a lot of talent on this team.
Haddonfield would love at the very least to come away with a field goal here. 2nd down. Davis in trouble, still on his feet. Again, you see the nimble abilities of Davis driving forward and staying in bounds. That looked like a play that had loss written all over it. Instead, Davis picks up a big gain and takes the Bulldogs back into field goal position.
Again, the ability of these Haddonfield, look at the feet. Watch the footwork for Haddonfield. You know, this is the ability just to escape tackles. A poor job that time of tackling. You know, just able to escape tackles and move the ball upfield. They've been doing it throughout the game with Davis and a number of ball carriers, but they're slipping through tackles.
3rd down and 5 at the 10-yard line. We'll see if they move it towards the middle of the field to set up the field goal. Davis fakes the handoff, rolls to his left. Now eludes tackles, right up the gut. Davis driving forward, and he's going to be shy of the 1st down. So decision time now for Delano. Certainly within field goal range, but an odd angle here for Baya.
Yeah, I want to keep on, beating this to death, but it certainly is a poor job. If you're looking at why West Deptford, if it would lose this game, poor tackling is at the top of the list. Another opportunity to get Davis at the line of scrimmage, and they don't wrap him up.
4th down, and again, it will be a field goal attempt here for Baya. Ball will be spotted at the 16-yard line. So a 26-yard field goal. Baya has enough in his leg. The kick is up, and the kick
can be wide.
Is good. Haddonfield extends their lead to 16-0.
All right, I said it was going to be wide, but it wasn't. It was actually right down the middle. You didn't hear that? No?
I know nothing.
Sure looked wide from this angle.
7:07 left in the third quarter. It's all right, buddy. There you see the Bulldog kind of getting loose. Speaking of which, one of the things that we talked about prior to the game with head coach Frank Delano,
the mascot said to be loose.
He said, you know what? The difference between this team today versus that first matchup against West Deptford is this team is loose. They came out, they were dancing to the music. They were upset when they shut the music off. They are just going to let it all hang out, and you know what? That's what we've seen thus far.
You're playing with house money. You come in, you're playing against West Deptford on its home field. You've had a fantastic season. You know, you lost to this team before. You know, what do you have to lose? You come in here, you have an opportunity to do something that no other Haddonfield team has done, which is win a championship on the field in 46 years. And, you know, they got this opportunity, and they've made the most of it so far. And certainly they have played like a loose punch.
Baez kick will bounce inside the 20, taking it about the 15-yard line. And again, not much there. Special teams have certainly been just that, special tonight for Haddonfield.
There's so many areas that Haddonfield has just surprised me tonight. And probably the biggest one is on defense. They have played marvelous on defense, flying all around the football. This is a team that in the first game they did not swarm to the football. Tonight, they're doing the complete opposite. They are getting to the football.
1st and 10, Hannon hands it off right up the middle and right through the defense. Cornelius caught from behind, loses the football. It's on the ground, and it looks like West Deptford has fallen on it. Well, Cornelius tracked down relatively easily from behind and stripped nicely, and the Eagles fortunate to have fallen on another loose football.
Yeah, but still a good run by Ben Cornelius. You can see just right up the middle, quick hitter. Number 2 going to get through the line. Poor job of tackling that time by Haddonfield, and Cornelius for a big gain. His brother Josh, sophomore, plays fullback and linebacker. Out right now due to an ankle sprain. Getting caught from behind by Rodriguez.
Well, you saw we had a run immediately after that play. Pickup of 6, 2nd down and 4. Clock moving, 6:15 left. Biggest play of the night for West Deptford. They'd love to continue this drive. Ball spotted inside the 27-yard line. And Scott will take it. Scott cut down. It looked like he had a hole, and that shut down quickly.
And so getting back to Cornelius, this is a kid who played soccer pretty much all his life. Played 11 years of soccer. Decided as a freshman he's going to move to football. And that decision he has not regretted. He has been a fabulous kicker, but really turned into a football player, an all-around football player in his 4 years.
The clock continuing to move inside of 5:50 now. Hannon hands it off, and penalty flags once again. Offside, Haddonfield, so someone may have lined up in the neutral zone.
You see Hannon, number 13. Dad, Dale Hannon, played football at Deptford High School. Mom, Marianne Pinto, played field hockey and softball at Gateway. Coming from the bloodlines of playing different sports.
Hannon to Scott. Scott trapped in his backfield.
Yeah, nothing doing. Now Walter, mentioned a couple times tonight, makes that tackle, and Walter's played a nice game at the defensive end spot. And again, being able to string that play up, get it to the outside, make the ball carrier back up a little bit, and then your linebackers in secondary come in and make the play. But that, I mean, Walter's just, you look at him, Cashman, and some of those guys along the defensive line, and they have played
Second
above their
down,
heads.
Hannon hands it off. And that'll be very close to the first down. Cornelius
with a big chunk.
I like the decision. Not just playing power football, West Deptford's strength. Coming out saying if we're going to lose, we're going to play at least what our strength has been, and that's just playing power football, going straight ahead and trying to knock Haddonfield off the ball.
On a measure.
All right, Shawn, we haven't had a measurement in a while.
I've been off all game. Do you really want me to try and make a call on this? I'm going to say short, just because I'll play along with it. Things are turning around for me too. Look at this.
Just short.
Head on down Atlantic City.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about myself. I came in with a great game plan, but you threw me off and the execution was gone. I couldn't make in-game adjustments.
Notice how it's my fault very quickly.
You know, you're the root of all evil to me when it's when it comes down to it.
3rd down and 1.
Probably get a little bit of a fullback dive here, try to get the ball to Cornelius, so maybe go just with Hannon. Get the big 300-pounder in the middle of that defense. Still got 2nd down, maybe even slip the tight end out, Rob. You got
3rd down.
3rd down. You can even slip the tight end down. You're still going to have another opportunity to pick up the 1st down.
Let's face it, it really doesn't matter what down it is. You still have the tight end there. 3rd down and 1. And likely, as you said, they'll go power football here. Hannon will push forward, and he'll have enough for that 1st down.
Excellent job by Hannon, getting extremely low. I mean, that's a terrific job by the quarterback. You're not going to be able to stop him if he's going to get that low. He basically crawled for the 1st down. Sister plays basketball for this West Deptford team, and family just that involved in sports, and Hannon has done a fantastic job of leading this team. Well, he's going to need to lead this team to a big comeback. If they do score here, Rob, then a big decision is going to be made. Do we go for 2? Do we go for 1 and try to get the 2 other scores at some point?
Hannon. And around. Angling towards the end zone. No sign yet. Touchdown! And now they're waving it off. They are waving it off.
Just a couple, maybe a foot short. Let's see if Fearon gets in. What if Fearon does is he does a fantastic job of setting up his block. You see out in front of him, it's Marcus Winston. And he's going to be able to cut right here. Nice job of getting back over. The ball's down. I think it's a good call. I think he was just short. Just short. But I dial up that same play with Hannon again. Hannon got so low and was able to push himself into the end zone. I wouldn't give Haddonfield another opportunity. I'd go with number 13 straight ahead.
Handoff. Scott. Touchdown.
Now they get to 6. Now, Rob, here's a big decision.
Yeah, you go for 2 here, because if you miss it, then you can go 13 and go with a field goal afterwards. So Haddonfield will look to defend this and try to make it a 2-possession game as opposed to a 1-possession game.
This time, if they go for 2, then they're down just by the 1 score, and 2 points would then tie the game up. So a big play with that missed extra point by Haddonfield in the first score of the game.
Hannon rolls to his right, getting pressure, throws underneath. Conversion is good. Fearon once again.
That was close. I think Fearon may have broke the plane of the goal line, although he was leveled out of bounds and looked like behind the goal line. He might have crossed initially and then just got pelted out of bounds and short of it. Nonetheless, they're only down by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So West Deptford strikes here in the half, and what we expected, this was going to be a game. You know, Fearon with a terrific run. And as I mentioned, this is a kid that really has worked. Again, not the biggest kid out here, but really brings a dynamic to this offense. You have Ben Cornelius, the big back. You have Scott, a breakaway back, and then you have Fearon, who's just a pest. You know, he's going to be able to pick up those tough yards. You think you have him bottled up, and he's going to find a crease and go on. He's been doing that throughout the year for this Eagle program and a huge touchdown.
Cornelius now to
Set up
kick
by
it
his
away.
run.
We've seen throughout the evening that the special teams of Haddonfield have had tremendous success. This is a serious momentum change for the Eagles, and a big return here could swing things back to the Bulldogs. Cornelius to kick it away. Davis has illustrated how dangerous he can be.
What
The
a
long kick into the end zone, and that certainly negates any run. A nice job by Ben Cornelius.
He's got a big foot. He won the Ironman championship for kickers, and you can see why. This kid has a huge leg, and that pins Haddonfield back. You have the wind to your back if you're the Eagles now. You pin Haddonfield back to the 20. Now remember, this is the same spot that Haddonfield started the game, and on the second play from scrimmage, Davis went the distance. So you have to be able to make plays on defense if you're West Deptford trying to get back into this one.
Well, we've seen that football is a game of adjustments, particularly during halftime. And we'll see whether or not West Deptford has an answer to this Haddonfield defense. Out of the shotgun, Davis keeps. Davis strings it outside, and he'll pick up about 5. They mark him at the 23. Or now the 27.
That time he's just going to foul Jacob Reisman.
That is, you can see Clyde Folsom is not pleased because it looked from here, he was out at about the 25-yard line. That's 2 huge yards deep in your own end.
Yeah, Folsom is livid right now on the sideline. Not happy at all with that spot.
Second down, we'll call it 3. 1 man in the backfield for Davis. He'll hand it off, and just not much there.
Yeah, that's R.J. Falls.
Slow developing plays have not been the answer for the Bulldogs tonight.
Yeah, once again, R.J. Falls making a play at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that West Deptford has sorely needed and something they have not accomplished to start this game.
3rd down and 3. Bulldogs trying to answer after that West Deptford long drive to make this a 1-possession game. Haddonfield on top 16-8. Clock continuing to move here with 2:45 remaining, and now timeout called on the field. It looks like it's going to be by Haddonfield.
That's their second, I believe, of the half. We're getting back to R.J. Falls. Plans on attending the University of Maryland with his friend Jordan Haynes. He wants to someday become a dentist.
It's like Herbie. Okay.
Really, guys, he's loose.
I guess you don't watch that Christmas
No,
special.
Okay, all right, I'm with you. I don't know other names. You got Rudolph. That's a Frosty. But you're going to,
Rudolph doesn't want to be a
going
dentist.
with the supporting character of Rudolph. Come on, man.
He's kind of a focal point in this story.
Yeah, I kind of watch sports a lot. You're talking about.
But it's that time of year.
It is.
It was on the other day.
Oh, you didn't call me up and let me know.
You have young children. Don't you watch that with them?
Actually, it was opposite Shrek the Hall. So
that was like a reality show episode. 3rd down and 3. Davis by himself in the backfield. Twins left. Davis keeps right up the middle. 1st down, Davis runs over Scott down at the 42-yard line.
outstanding job blocking by Reisman, Cashman, and that group in the middle. I mean, look at this hole.
Call. When you need yards, give it to the guy who got you there.
Look at this hole. I mean, there is just nobody there for West Deptford. And on, again, that left side of the offensive line, just getting the job done tonight for the Bulldogs.
Big first down for the Dogs. 2:20 remaining in this third quarter. 1st and 10. Davis will hand it off, and a big hit laid out. West Deptford's James Shields.
Shields with a huge hit behind the line of scrimmage. You see right here, no place to go as Shields Swallows them up along with falls.
That is textbook tackling. You see in the pros all too often, Shawn, where guys are just looking to hit somebody. You see, again, Shields lays out the hit but wraps him up as well and denies Haddonfield of any positive yards. 2nd down and 13. A minute 40 now remaining in this 3rd quarter. Davis working out of the shotgun and his brother in motion. Davis will keep coming to the short side. Hurdles one man, and we may have a penalty here. Again, we have had no shortage of flags tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a block in the back. I think this is going to push Haddonfield back a little bit more on Vaughn Scott. You're going to get a hold. Regardless of the call, it's going to back Haddonfield up once again. Now you got to get a little tight if you're Haddonfield. You know, this is only a touchdown and a 2-point conversion down as this West Deptford squad. You got the crowd starting to get in, the band starting to get loud. You know, this is the, you know, you look back at the game 1. This is the spot West Deptford was in. In fact, Clyde Folsom said if they had another drive, Haddonfield would have probably won the game. They would have scored. Now they just ran out of time. West Deptford looks like the team now in the second half starting to build some momentum.
So West Deptford takes the penalty. 2nd down and 21. Clock again restarts. Ball spotted at the 32-yard line. They will have to get into West Deptford territory in order to gain a 1st down. Haddonfield doesn't seem to be in any particular hurry here. Clock continuing to move. 1:05 remaining now in this 3rd quarter. 3 receivers set for Davis, 1 man in the backfield. Davis loses the football, falls on it, but it looks like the Bulldogs will come away. So right now, the wheels are falling off for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, a couple mistakes again. You mentioned it earlier with that football getting a little slippery. Yeah, that can cause some problems. Snap a little bit low. Hits the knee of Davis. He's just going to jump on a little foot race to the football with Josh Roan, number 63. Davis wins that, but right now, Haddonfield going backwards.
Well, we'll see if Haddonfield runs the football. If they do, and West Deptford does not call a timeout, then they will have the wind to their back when punting it. Conversely, we'll see whether or not, should they run the ball, that Folsom decides to call a timeout. Davis trying to hustle, and now time will expire. It looks like a delay of game.
Yeah, probably delay game. Wise decision by Haddonfield. Listen, you're already backed up. Your best option at this point is to try to get off a punt with your back to, if you don't pick up the 1st down, something catastrophic doesn't happen to the West Deptford defense on this next play. You'd love to get the wind at your back.
3rd down and 33. Ball at the 25-yard line. They have to get to the 47-yard line of West Deptford.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of a rollout to the opposite side of the field to buy Davis some time. Because that, most importantly, they just want to get this quarter over with so they can punt with a win.
Davis on the quarterback draw. Davis, and he is brought down. And Folsom quickly calls timeout, but not before the end of the quarter.
I don't know.
The referees
I think
are going to talk about it.
He called timeout before time had expired on the clock. Great decision by Folsom. This is a pretty big call, Rob, because the wind's really howling.
They're going to put 4 seconds back on the clock. I think they're saying 3 seconds now.
Yeah, they're saying 3 seconds should be on the clock. And now West Deptford with the timeout.
3 seconds? What? 3 or 4?
They're questioning whether it's 3 or 4 seconds. Of course, they do have to make it right, but frankly, it's going to be irrelevant. Once this play gets off, it will be the end of the half, or excuse me, the quarter. But again, you know, coaches can be adept at a number of things, Shawn. but great coaches are adept at everything. And again, you see Folsom thinking about what I mentioned, the fact that you call a timeout here and use the wind, because this is a critical play coming here. We saw what Baya did earlier on the punt when he had the wind to his back. We've talked before about how the wind is picking up in intensity. This is going to be the difference of maybe 20, 25 yards.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is the right call by. You don't want to burn a timeout down, but you know, this is a spot where you had to. Could be, like you said, a 20-yard difference in field position. So certainly you call a timeout in that spot.
High snap, Baya. It's blocked! It's blocked! And West Deptford will fall on it inside the 10-yard line. And the Eagles come marching back.
Guess who? Yeah, this is a kid who is in many spots made huge plays for this program. And once again, you see him come flying through. R.J. Falls, who missed a fraction of the season due to injuries, comes in and makes another pump block. This is a kid just makes plays for this West Deptford team in playoff time. It is outstanding effort by Falls, giving up his body to get that block punt.
Well, they had a classic earlier in the year, and they look like they're not going to disappoint again tonight. 12 minutes left, fourth quarter. The score 16-8. West Deptford knocking on the door. Great field position inside the 10-yard line. First down and goal. We'll step away. 1 quarter to play. Bulldogs on top of the Eagles. Welcome back. Fourth quarter. First and goal. Scott right up the gut. 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah, they've done a nice job so far bottling up Scott, not allowing him to get huge plays. This Haddonfield defense needs to dig in. That play by Falls at the end of the quarter, the decision to call timeout, all playing a factor. You know, there's so many different things happening in that punt to be executed properly, and you're faced with that wind, that plays a factor in it.
And around, Fearon cuts it inside, Fearon! And he looks like he's short of the goal line.
Just love the way this kid runs. He runs so hard for a 165-pound kid. Cuts back to the inside, going to give his body up. Haddonfield also, I don't want to get lost in this. That's a good job of tackling toward the goal line. It's the second time they've stopped him. But look, he's just going to give it up. So I'm going to just throw my body right into the defender. Doesn't go down. Second effort, trying to get into the end zone, stopped. But again, this Fearon is a player.
Third down and goal at the 1 yard line. Handoff inside, driving forward Scott, and Scott looks like he's denied. And that brings up a critical fourth down. Decision time for Folsom. A field goal here would ensure a touchdown, would put them ahead. However, they're knocking on the door, and if you're Clyde Folsom, and you've seen the work that's been done in the weight room all year long, you got to believe you feel good about this offensive line.
You go for it. That time Scott just running into Porter. Porter, too much strength.
Fourth and goal. Scott behind hand. Keeps, and a push, and he's denied. Haddonfield holds. A tremendous job by the front line of this Haddonfield defense.
Wow. I mean, that's just heart and desire. This Haddonfield team coming in here with nothing to lose, but certainly a lot to gain, and making a goal line stand. That could be the difference in the end of this outcome, the outcome of this one. Look at this complete surge by the defensive line, getting low, stacking everybody up, and nowhere to go for Haddon underneath. And Haddonfield's going to get the football now. They're going to probably just come out, try to get a quick hitter up the middle. get some yardage.
Davis keeps, pushes forward, trying to create some space. They'll pick up about 4.
Pushes forward to about the 5-yard line.
Not for West Deptford, you can't feel sorry for yourself. You didn't score, you have Haddonfield backed up. Still plenty of time in this game. Defensively, you want to dig in here and make them force a 3-and-out and punt.
2nd down and a short 6 for Davis. And that play seemed out of sync. Drives forward again, picks up maybe 3.
Not a great job by the West Deptford defensive line. That time they allowed themselves to get stood up. You know, Haddonfield doing a good job. Listen, we're just trying to give our punters some room. If we have to punt, we're going to get low, we're going to drive. Then what they're doing is they're going and rushing up to the line of scrimmage. That doesn't allow West Deptford to get set up. When you don't get set up, you don't get the drive with your legs, and they get stood up, and that's why you get 3 or 4 yards on each one of those carries.
Haddonfield's going to have to hustle to get this play off. They have taken a lot of time. 3rd down and 3. Davis will quickly get to the line of scrimmage. Will they get it off? They do. The handoff. Dangler with room. 1st down, Bulldogs. A huge 1st down.
Love the tempo that Haddonfield is playing with. They're getting to the line of scrimmage, coming out of the huddle, and then immediately snapping the football. They're not allowing West Deptford any time to dig in and get a good push.
Clock continuing to elapse inside of 8:20 remaining in this 4th quarter. A critical 1st down for the Bulldogs, able to get out of their own end zone, still deep in their own end. 1st down and 10, ball at the 15-yard line. Davis out of the shotgun will keep. Davis looking for room, and absolutely nothing there.
Well, that is a fantastic job by Jason Fox. The senior, 5'11", 180, sheds off the blocker and just pulls down the ball carrier before he's able to even think about getting to the outside. Nice play by Fox. Watch number 11. We're going to take on Davis. Kind of getting blocked into Kevin Davis, but nonetheless is able to pull the ball carrier down for a negative gain.
Baya in motion. Davis pitches. Baya. We're going to have another holding penalty here, and this is going to be big. Decision time. It would be a 3rd down and long. We'll see whether or not Folsom opts to take the holding penalty and back them up further. What would you do here, Shawn?
Oof, this is tough. It is a tough call because, you know, you lose 3 or 4 yards, but, you know, you're not going to probably gain.
I would be apt to decline the penalty.
Yeah, I think I would too. I think I'd decline the penalty. I don't want to give Haddonfield another opportunity for Davis to break another one off. Give him one less opportunity to do so. Get the football back. You're moving the football decently.
They're going to take it.
Clyde is.
Hey, I tell you what.
Yeah,
Clyde says take it. I'm going with Clyde.
I feel like I want to apologize for being dumb because when Clyde says do the opposite, you do the opposite.
2nd down and 20 now for the Bulldogs. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 7:09 and counting. Davis pitches. And another penalty flag here, as this play will come back as well.
They might get him on a legal shift.
The one thing this is accomplishing is the clock is being chewed up by the Bulldogs. We'll see whether or not Clyde takes this one. They're going to decline.
And so now we'll do about 3rd and 11. So they wouldn't have gained much. It would have been half the distance to the goal, so they wouldn't have gained much accepting that penalty, so that's why they declined it there. Regardless, they're trying to get the football back. Just just waste more time. Haddonfield will waste more time.
Remember last year when we saw Haddonfield take on West Deptford, a lot of trouble getting plays to the line. They've been a little bit slow in this second half, and now they're forced to burn another timeout because of confusion on the field. And again, this could come back to bite them. 6:31 remaining in this fourth quarter, and Davis has his head coach Delano come out and talk things over.
Yeah, Frank Delano, again, he has really risen among the ranks of some of the better South Jersey coaches in football. He's heavily involved with the Adam Teller Foundation, All-Star game as a coach there. Really involved just with the youth programs. All 5 Haddonfield football teams are in finals this week, including the youth program. So, this is a program that's on the rise. Frank Delano has a lot to do about that. Went and spoke to the little guys yesterday and gave them some encouragement, talking about winning and the tradition that they're trying to build here at Haddonfield. And I think that's important, to really reach down and give the kids something to get excited about and to play for a guy like Delano.
So we're back to 3rd down and 11 now for Kevin Davis and the Bulldogs. Kevin Davis working out of the shotgun. Quick drop, has time, and now he's going to roll. Looks to use his legs, and Davis is strung out of bounds, and he'll be shy of the first down.
Yeah, nice play by Todd Gerald. Gerald, 6'1", 190-pound junior, makes the play in the open field against Davis. And that's all, right there, Davis is just trying to do that. Buy some time, send the receivers deep, and give him the opportunity to run with the football. I think it's a nice call by Delano, because you're going to send everybody deep, open the field for him. So if he misses the tackle there, does Gerald, then maybe Davis is able to pick up the first down. They'll have to punt. Again, remember, the wind clearly at the back of Baya.
Scott back at his 50-yard line.
Not
we'll see
deep.
whether or not Baya.
Yeah, they're trying to push him back.
And it's blocked again. It is blocked again. And it's loose on the field. And West Deptford.
Yeah, West Deptford's going to recover it. That time it looked like it was Fox on the block.
Well, we talked before about Haddonfield special teams being special. Well, that has changed quickly.
Since then, it's been especially bad. And you got to give credit to West Deptford. West Deptford right now is getting a quick jump on the lineman, and they're getting to the backfield in a hurry. And the play's just a little bit too long. You see, again, the block, right up the gut. West Deptford recovers. They're a great spot to at least get a touchdown and possibly tie the game.
Cornelius thrown down after a short pickup. 6 minutes remaining. West Deptford with excellent field position, and again, we're in 4-down territory. 25-yard line, 2nd down, and we'll call it 9. Hannon with Cornelius. In motion, it's Fearon. Hannon rolls to his right, gets pressure from behind, dumps it underneath, and not a whole lot there. A pickup of 2 or 3 yards as Hannon finds Jordan Haynes, a big tight end.
Yeah, looking for Haynes, and Davis found Haynes in a hurry. There was no spot for Haynes to be able to catch the football and move upfield, because 33, Chris Davis, was right there, the senior, 6'1", 203 pounds, coming off that injury. Separated shoulder in the semifinals against Willingboro, but he's able to make a little bit of a recovery to help his team out here on defense. 1 carry so far in the game offensively.
Little end around, and absolutely squashed is Scott. So 4th down now for West Deptford. They will obviously go for it here. It would be a kick of approximately 43 yards into the wind, and that simply isn't going to happen.
This is an opportunity where you're going to allow Hannon to throw the football.
Fourth down and 11. Hannon Back to pass. Throws it down the middle. Falls incomplete.
It looked like there was contact downfield. And I don't know if it was too high or uncatchable.
Yeah, it looked like the Haddonfield player went down, and Jakubowski just unable.
Good protection by the offensive line. They're trying to look downfield to Jakubowski. Ball a little overthrown once again into the wind. They'd be compensating for the wind.
Good no call there. 4 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. First down and 10, and Haddonfield would love to string together a few first downs. Remember, West Deptford has burned a timeout here.
I think the referees have done a pretty good job in tonight's game. There's a lot of flags, but I think they're calling what they're saying.
Davis hands it off right up the middle. And it's his brother, Chris Davis, who picks up about 7 or 8 yards.
Chris is a powerful, strong running back who gives you a little bit of a different look. And right now they're leaning on the big guy. Separated shoulder, 3:48 left. There's nothing left in the season other than winning a South Jersey championship the first time in 46 years.
If they can put together 3 first downs, Haddonfield will likely be able to run out the clock. Davis with high formation, and a slow developing play ends up in a loss and almost a lost football.
Yeah, nice job by Shields that time. He's going to knife through and disrupt everything. And that's the objective. You want to get to the line of scrimmage and disrupt how the play is going to go. Execution that time perfect by number 34, James Shields.
You have to wonder if the Haddonfield offensive coordinator's a little thinking beyond what's worked for him. It's been Davis all night that's been successful. Those slow developing counters and draws have not been successful. Put it in the hands of Davis. We'll see if that's what they do here. Davis working out of the shotgun. He does keep, finds a hole. Davis drives forward, and that play has been there all night long, and Davis has answered the call all night long. First down, Haddonfield.
Yeah, it's worked for him, and it's tremendous credit has to go out to whether they win or lose this game to this offensive line. They have certainly come to play. Cashman and this group, Reisman throughout the night, Porter throughout the night. These are guys that are taking it to the West Deptford defensive front, and especially on them counters, those type of plays where they're just trying to get the ball to the outside. They've done a tremendous job blocking.
I think if you're Haddonfield, you don't try to do too much. Let Davis keep the football. Instead, they hand it off, and again, not much there. I'll tell you, why I don't like that play is A, we've seen how successful Kevin Davis has been, and B, more exchanges, more likelihood of a turnover.
If they're confident, I think, with what they've done throughout the season, that have put them into this position, and they've had a number of guys who have played key contributions into the possibility of a South Jersey championship. Minute 33 left in counting.
Second down the pitch, and it's Chris Davis. Davis strings it outside and picks up maybe 1 or 2.
The flag is down, Rob. It's going to stop the clock with 1:25.
I'm not sure that you take that, because then
right,
Haddonfield can burn more time again. Holding Haddonfield, penalty is declined. Third down now. And the clock starts up again. And Haddonfield will not have to snap the football until approximately a minute remaining. Third down and 10, ball at the 37-yard line. This play essentially is the season for the West Deptford Eagles. Davis working out of the shotgun. Takes a snap, fumbles the football, and merely falls on it. And that's a wise decision.
Timeout going to be taken here with 56.2 left. And Haddonfield, let's remember, they have to punt the football now. They've had 2 blocked punts on their last punt attempts. one by Fox, one by Falls.
And this is a case, if you're Frank Delano, you talk to your punter and say, listen, if you feel the pressure, just eat it.
So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I don't care where you can shank it. If you pick up 10 or 15 yards on a punt, so be it. You just don't want that punt being blocked, because then there's the possibility of a return. So you just kick it off as quick as you possibly can. And I don't care if it's a shank. You don't whiff. But I mean, that's what you're telling them. Just get it off. The play's got to develop a little quicker than what it's been over the last couple of times.
Last 2 punts have been blocked by this West Deptford special teams unit. Baya has had an extraordinary punt earlier in the night. We'll see if they do. They put back Scott to return it. They've had an ample rush, sending 10 guys.
Yeah, 35 touchdowns so far on the year by Scott. What this also does is, with this pressure that the defense is putting on the offensive line, it's going to give him the ability in the open field to get a good running start.
It looks like Baya is going to go a little bit deeper here out of punt formation. And West Deptford gets a good jump, and they may be offsides.
That was a good punt by Baya. Good hang time.
And no, it's a procedure penalty against Haddonfield. Haddonfield got the punt away, but they'll be forced to do it again. Again, surprisingly, Baya punting right to Scott, Shawn, as opposed to angling the football.
He might be just trying to concentrate on getting it off his foot. I'm sure he'd like to angle it.
High snap, Baya gets it away, and he's hit.
We're
going to have a penalty here. Scott takes it, and Baya is in pain. Scott is tackled down at the 42-yard line, and this may be a personal foul.
That's an automatic first down. Yeah, Rob. I think running and roughing in at the high school level, it's an automatic first down. All right, so he doesn't get the first down. So it's going to be running, so it's going to be 5 yards. They'll decline that, and West Deptford will get the football.
They declined the penalty. 42.6 seconds left. I got to be honest with you, Shawn. I think West Deptford dodged a dodged a bullet there. They dodged a football too, but he got hit pretty good.
I'd like to know the definition of running or roughing, because that looked like it was. I'd like to see what roughing.
Still a little shaken up out there. And if you're Frank Delano, you're probably a little upset about the lack of a personal foul there. 42.6 seconds left in the season for West Deptford. They will need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. A touchdown just won't do it. They will have to come up with successive big plays. Hannon underneath center. West Deptford out of timeouts. Quick drop, Hannon flushed out of the pocket. Looking, throwing, and that falls incomplete. And they're going to look for, they get a grounding penalty against Hannon. And that will be a loss of down along with a spot foul. 35 seconds remaining now. And you can just get a sense of the the Haddonfield sidelines and the stands are ready to erupt. There will be quite a celebration in Haddonfield tonight, should this score hold.
If it holds, it'll be 16,790 days.
You can see the bleachers literally shaking over there on the Haddonfield side. Second down, Hannon. Second down and 22. Remember, they'll need a first down to stop the clock. Hannon hands it off inside, and Scott is brought down. West Deptford will have to hustle. Clock continuing to move now. West Deptford trying to get to the line. Third down now, and about 20. Inside of 15 seconds, Hannon looking for his man, throws it up. It's Jakubowski, in and out of his hands. And that pass falls incomplete. That would have been a first down. So 4th down now for the Eagles. 10.4 seconds remaining. West Deptford with the storied history looking to defend their home turf. They've had an easy go of it in the postseason. The one team that has given them fits this year has been the Haddonfield Bulldogs. They had to pull one out at the end to defeat them 31-28 all the way back in early October. They're going to need a miracle finish here once again to replicate that effort. Hannon and a penalty flag here will back up the Eagles even further.
Delano was screaming for a delay of game by West Deptford and wasn't getting the call.
Well, you don't have a whole lot of plays in your playbook for 4th down and 25. Legal substitution call against the Eagles. And 9.3 seconds now left on the clock. Hannon will not only have to get a first down here, but likely will have to get the ball to end the play out of bounds. Hannon throws it, swing pass, Scott, it falls incomplete. 3.6 seconds remaining. One snap away for the Bulldogs to be the 2010 Group 2 champions.
They're just going to kneel on it, and it's been, as I mentioned, Rob, 16,790 days since Haddonfield's last championship. They will end that skid with an improbable upset here against West Deptford. I'd say impossible, but on West Deptford's home turf in this type of environment, this is definitely some type of an upset despite the 3-point win earlier in the season. I mean, you saw West Deptford jump out to the huge lead in game 1. Haddonfield coming in with an outstanding game plan. Everything seemed to work, but Haddonfield also won the game on the football field. Don't make me, they had some bounces go their way. They weren't able to capitalize early on, but they won the game on the field.
Well, again, it's quite the opposite of what happened last time. It was Haddonfield this time who came out with the quick start. And West Deptford just did not have enough and frankly ran out of time. 16-8, last play of the game here into the victory formation. And the Haddonfield Bulldogs erupt. They are your 2010 Group 2 champions.
Huge celebration at midfield, and that is a 46-year celebration in the making. And West Deptford's going to come out and very disappointed as well. They should be. A team that, coming in with huge favorites. And Clyde Folsom had said, talking to people, talking to other coaches, and they said, Clyde, what are you worrying about? Your team is just loaded with so much talent and promise. But that's why. You have somebody who can come in, put together a game plan. You see Frank Delano celebrating a championship, a Gloucester Catholic product. Anything can happen when you put 4 quarters together, and Haddonfield proved that tonight. They came out with a terrific game plan, a team that was loose, believed in one another, and they end the 46-year drought with a terrific 16-8 victory here on West Deptford's home field.
Frank Delano goes over to shake the hands of Clyde Folsom. And again, a huge victory here for the Bulldogs. There you see a player who will remember this day forever, Kevin Davis. An extraordinary effort on his part. He started the scoring here early with a 74-yard touchdown run and never looked back. Stick around, post-game interviews and a wrap. Haddonfield, the Group 2 champions in 2010. They double up the Eagles 16-8. We'll be right back.
Band's going to come right in the middle of it.
Welcome back to West Deptford High School. Haddonfield, your South Jersey Group 2 champions for 2010.
Sounds nice.
How does that sound, Coach Delano?
Oh my gosh, it sounds awesome. This is a body of work from 9 years ago. You have vision of this thing. You know, it went from our guys, our alumni who stayed through this thing. You know, this is our ninth class, and this is for everybody. And I just really hope that the town's proud of what they see every week, and see the product that we put on the field. Each week we battle, and our kids just played our hearts out. I never knew what this felt like. I got in two in high school and then couldn't finish them. This moment's special, and I know now we said it to our kids, you're going to go down in immortality now. We get that banner in the gym, and no one can ever take this away from us.
You know, Haddonfield High School has always had this storied athletic tradition. It always seemed like football was kind of the weak spot. You've taken over, and now you've created a real powerhouse once again. I mean, that's truly a testament to your hard work and your coaching ability.
Thank you. You know, it's a group effort. You know, I said this at the beginning, we had to do this thing together. You know, there's not one man. There's one man that can drive it, but, we had some great people down at the youth program. You know, and I think there was 18 or 20 kids that were at our first youth camp that were in the locker room tonight. You know, and that's special. And that takes some great people all the way around. You know, we're fortunate tomorrow. Our youth program is four championships for themselves to play for tomorrow. So this has been a group effort. Coaches that have been here before, the current coaches, with us. I'm talking under our tenure. This feeling is awesome. But again, it's not one man. It's everybody in this thing together.
You know, we talked in the open about how your team was loose today, appreciably different than what it was last game. You guys started strong, and it just seems like you coasted there. I mean, did the players get a sense that this tonight was just going to be a little different?
You know, we were different. We were different in the locker room. It was our guys are loose, and I said it. Like I said to you, I know you just said that. We're a dance party type team. In the locker room, we're loose. We don't feel angst. We're not tense at all. This was tonight. We played our football. We played tremendous defense, which we have all year for the most part. The hiccup was the first time against them. And they're a tremendous offense. Tremendous offense. We wanted to start fast, but we also knew it was going to take 48 minutes, and obviously it did. It came down the last 10 seconds of the game, and still the game's in question. And it took a great, if we say offense wins games, defense wins championships. Our design wasn't to throw the ball all over the field. We had to keep the ball in our hands as much as we could. 3 and out wasn't bad as long as the clock was going. You got to keep Scott off the field. They are an extremely dangerous offense. So we were saying, all right, 3 and outs aren't bad, but make sure the clock's not stopped with those 3 and outs. Try to make this game as quickly as possible. If this game was done in an hour and a half, we were good with it. But in the same sense, play good D, move the chains, timely offense, and then at the end there, we had a chance to seal it up, another holding penalty. But, bottom line is special teams won us the game. I know it looked ugly. The block punts, they had 2 of them. But at the end, you get that punt off, and then, the big defensive stand at the end.
Well, I was going to say, before the game we talked, I said, what do you need to do to win? You said score 31 points this time. I asked you, do you need to score that many points? In your wildest dreams, did you think you keep this offense that has scored more than 40 points week in and week out to just 1 score?
I have a lot of confidence in our guys. I think they're going to get 1 score, and if you tell me it's going to be 16-8 at the end, I'm going to tell you fine. As long as we have 16, where do I sign up for that? But in the same sense, we have confidence in our kids. I'm not saying 8 shutout, whatever it may be, but we know when we play team defense, we fly around. We saw that, in a summer camp when we played against Williamstown and bigger schools and Holy Cross. Our guys just rise to the challenge. And it's one of those things that we take a lot of pride in our defense. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Mumbauer, does a tremendous job, trying to get us in X and O positions. But our bottom line, if you don't have great kids, this doesn't happen.
One last question before I let you go. Talk about the job that Kevin Davis did tonight.
Kevin's poised. He's a poised kid. When especially, he had some large shoes to fill. And he did this with such class, with such work ethic. And he did. And he, you look at his stat this year: 14 touchdowns. I think he had 5 picks. That's it. He took care of the football. He was on our engine. And tonight we knew, Kev, listen, you're the man. And you're going to finish this thing. And you're going to be the first quarterback since 1964 to be a state champ. So it's special. He's a tremendous kid. Better kid probably even than player.
Every coach dreams about this night. I let you go. I know it's going to be a fun night for you. You've done a tremendous job. These young men have done a tremendous job. We'll throw it over to Shawn Leary. Great job, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're here with a couple players of the game. We're going to start off with Matt Biden. When we talk about adversity, a lot of coaches talk about it. It's facing adversity and being able to battle back from that. 2 punt blocks. You got to get that punt off. What did the coach come to you on that 4th down play at the end of the game?
Yeah, we just shortened up our steps and stuff. But we've been down before. We were down against Willingboro in the semifinals. We played West Deptford earlier. We were down 28. We fought back to tie it up. So our team, we're mentally tough. We can definitely fight back.
You lose your brother last year. Terrific, a dynamic quarterback. this team doesn't skip a beat. In fact, the team might have been better, not because of him leaving, but the fact that just the team matured under such a great leader like your brother. What did you learn from him and really took that into this game?
Yeah, well, Phil's great, and he makes a lot of single man plays and stuff, but he told us that it's not just him, it's his line, it's everyone else, and we took that to heart here. All 11 guys on the field have to do their job in order for us to succeed, and that's what we did.
Congratulations to you, just a junior, be back next year. Been able to win a South Jersey championship. One of the Davis brothers, and I know you just playing in the game was going to be important because you had the separated shoulder against Willingboro. Yeah. I'm sure they limited you to the number of plays you were able to play a little defense, did get a carry or two. This must be great, but coming in, you had to be biting your lip. Am I going to play, am I not?
Yeah, it was kind of like a play-it-by-ear type of situation this whole week. Kept it nice and light during practice, rested up, iced. I wasn't real sure if I was going to play both sides of the ball tonight. I talked to my coaches, and they said, we're probably going to need you mostly on D tonight. And I was like, whatever you need, coach, whatever the game plan is, I'm ready, I'm with it. I just want to help our team out, and thank God we came out with it tonight.
Notice with 4 minutes left, you were in the backfield, so they obviously wanted to have you in crunch time and forget the separated shoulder. At that point, we're trying to win a South Jersey title.
At that point, it wasn't even hurting me. It really wasn't. I was just so into the game. My adrenaline's pumping. I was just trying to help out my team. I was trying to get in there, just get some yards, get some carries, get some first downs, keep the clock running. So I was just trying to help them out with my team in any way tonight. Noticed
you visibly. The emotions poured out of you. Literally poured out of you. What were you thinking about winning the championship, and why so emotional?
It's just a great way to go out my senior year. My last win of the season. Just going out on a positive note. It really feels good to win on such a high note, really.
Well, congratulations to you guys, an outstanding season. And I'm here with, Kevin. And Kevin, you come in this game. You're obviously a slight underdog to West Deptford, coming in on their home field, a team storied almost like the Yankees, always in a championship game. You guys hadn't won since 1964. Tell me exactly what you're feeling right now.
I always like being the underdog because there's really not that much pressure on you. We just came out fired up. We wanted this more than anything. Our seniors wanted this more than anything, and we came out. We had a couple of big plays in the beginning of the game, worked hard on momentum, and we just cruised from there. It was a good win.
You guys are backed up, second play from scrimmage. You dart down the sidelines, great speed. But just tell me about that play in particular and how that inspired you guys for the rest of the game.
That play, I give all the credit to my line. They made a great hole for me to cut through. I got into open space, and I was able to make a big play. So I give all the credit to my line.
I'm sure not a lot of people gave you guys really a chance to beat West Deptford in the final. Coming in, what was the mentality of this team to be able to beat a team like West Deptford?
Our mentality was just to play our football. Don't worry about them. Just do what you were supposed to do. Each individual guy, do your job, and it worked to our advantage.
Anything stick out that Coach said to you? I know he's an motivational type of guy. Is there anything that stuck out for you from either pre-game, during halftime, anything that he said?
Coach C always gets you a little fired up in the locker room. Our coaches work endless hours, game planning. They've done an unbelievable job this year. A huge part of our success, and it was great. It was a great win for us.
Well, congratulations. You go celebrate. Have a great time. And, tremendous job, Rob, done by the Davis brothers and company. I know Porter, and there's some of them coming down here now. But just a remarkable job done by this team. They beat a team. They come in, again, you're talking about West Deptford. You're coming in a final, being the underdog, and starting out with the emotional they played with a tremendous amount of intensity to start this football game, and that a lot of credit goes to the Bulldogs and also Coach Delano to get them that fired up. They pushed West Deptford around to start the game off.
Yeah, obviously to get to this point, you have to have a talented team, but you also need an excellent coaching staff. But you also have to give Haddonfield a tremendous amount of credit because they did it here at West Deptford. You talk about the legacy that Clyde Folsom has created here at West Deptford. That's daunting, and having to rebound against a West Deptford team that beat them earlier in the year. I think the one thing that probably gave them an edge coming into today was the fact that the way that game ended, despite the fact that they lost, they had to have tremendous confidence saying that, you know what, we can run the football and we can put up points against this West Deptford football team.
Yeah, I think it's something needs to be said about what Clyde Folsom was worried about in the beginning of this, as to start this game, was how his team was going to be able to fight back with any type of adversity at all. And I'm not talking about just falling behind, but facing a 3rd and long or 3rd and short, how the team was going to be able to respond. They get down on a touchdown. The stands were just completely silent. And you just almost felt like, everything just drop out, the air just drop out of West Deptford, and they were never able to recover from that. Something needs to be said. This is a great team. And, let's give, we talk about Glenn Howard and some of these great coaches that year in and year out, they're in the finals. Let's give credit to Clyde Folsom. I mean, this is a team, they don't get it done, but another fantastic season, going to fall short of that season mark of 511 points. But they're always here. And it's like the Yankees. They're always in it. It's going to get people to watch. They're an exciting team. And when they get knocked off, I'm sure some people are excited about that because you beat the Giants. But it's just fun always having that same team. You see the same faces. And somebody knocking them off like Frank Delano makes it even that much greater because you can see the excitement in knocking off the Giants.
I think a couple things that were particularly poignant tonight that I saw was after the game was over, Frank Delano talking to Von Scott, who was in tears, very upset about the way the game finished up. And conversely, on the other side of the ball, I saw Chris Davis in that huddle afterwards, winning the championship with tears of joy. It just illustrates, how much these young men love this football game, how much effort and time they dedicate, how much it means to them, and overall how important sport is, not only into the lives of young men, but into our country as a whole. And I think both teams really represented themselves not only well tonight, but throughout the season.
I thought the biggest thing that he said in that huddle wasn't so much about the winning, but he said, hey, listen, tomorrow we got Haddonfield wins the South Jersey title. Don't let us see 7 Haddonfield players celebrate and get themselves in trouble. That, again, coaching, saying, all right, listen, we had a great time. Enjoy it. Be kids. Haddonfield's certainly going to be doing that tonight.
Haddonfield with a tremendous season. One for the ages. They are your South Jersey Group 2 champions. 16-8, the winner tonight over West Deptford here at West Deptford High School. For my partner, Shawn Leary, my director, Stan Ritter, our fantastic crew, I am Rob Christ. Again, Haddonfield will wear the championship crown for the year of 2010 in Group 2. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.